Hello and welcome to Emerge TV. I am David Mammano, your host. We got a great guest today, all the way from Miami. She wanted to come up and experience the beautiful below 50 weather. Erin Vinson, welcome to Emerge TV.
Thank you.
So happy to have you. We've been talking about this for a while, and I'm glad you finally made it up to do this.
Same.
And I'm glad that you bought a new cool jacket.
This whole thing.
It looks great. So welcome to lovely Ra-Cha-Cha. And so you are VP of Emerge Infinite Staffing for how long now?
Since April of 21.
Okay, all right, very cool. So we're coming up on a big 3-year anniversary.
Yep.
Excellent. So tell us about Emerge Infinite Staffing. What is it? What do you guys do? What don't you do? And just so we can, because there's different divisions to Emerge, so let's make everybody really clear on all the magic that's happening in the division that you run.
Perfect. So we do hourly and direct hire staffing. We operate all across the country, but our target markets are Cleveland, Ohio, South Florida, and then here in Rochester. It's where the bulk of our companies are in our positions. And we do everything from a temporary event staffing to temp to hire staffing, where people are trying the try before you buy technique, if you will, all the way up to perm placement and long-term contracted staffing.
Okay. And it's going really well. I understand that we're having just a banner year in revenue.
Yep, we're getting there. We are.
And a lot of optimization of the team, we'll say.
Yes.
Right, and just stronger, better, faster, and just finding out what works, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Is there anything that you won't do when it comes to staffing? Is it something like, oh, we don't do that?
So from an hourly staffing, there are a couple of codes, as they say, that we wouldn't want to do, really driving or roofing. So anything where people are going to be high up in the air in any way, 8 feet or higher, or driving a vehicle.
Just like a liability perspective?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay.
Outside of that, but we'll do that perm placement. So if a client wants that and they're asking for it hourly, we'll say, well, we can't do that, but we'll do a deal where you just pay a percentage of the salary.
So a company needs like 10 admin people for 6 months. Boom.
Exactly.
Company needs a new CMO calling you.
Exactly.
Love it. And sometimes do they continue to be Emerge employees even though they're at the company for a long time?
They do, yes.
That's one version.
Correct.
And then sometimes they'll just, they just will be working for that company at some point too.
Exactly. Sometimes if it's a temp to hire type position, it's usually anywhere, depending upon the market, it varies greatly, anywhere from 90 days to 6 months. And then after that period, they go full-time with the client. And then if it's a long-term contracted type deal, they can be a year, 2 years, 3 years. The company maybe doesn't have the budget in the labor dollars, but they do in vendor dollars. So it kind of works out either way.
Gotcha. So how long have you been in this business for?
So I used to be proud of that number, but so now this is year 23 that I've been in the industry.
All right, so you started when you were 3. That's fantastic.
Exactly.
That's great. So you really have learned it from the bottom up for a very long time. Has there been a lot of changes in the industry since you started?
There have been. Yeah, I remember a time when I first started running a desk at a branch office. You had so many candidates and just not enough jobs to put them all in. And now it's the exact opposite. So it used to be you post a position on Career Builder back in the day, and next thing you know, when you come in the next morning, you've got 300 applicants to choose from, and you fill your order in 24 hours. Now, you can post an ad just and hope that it comes, something comes of it, but most of it is warm sourcing. So you're looking for people that are underemployed versus unemployed in today's market. So it's a little bit harder to find them.
Right. So, but if somebody is really trying to find a job and determined, those opportunities abound, right?
Absolutely. There are plenty of jobs available and that pay, a livable wage.
Yeah. What made you, like 23 years ago, what made you think of getting into this business?
Well, honestly, I was a dispatcher for a trucking company. And I was going to school, and I really hated that job. It was outbound sales calls, trying to move loads of oranges from California to Kentucky for like 13 cents a mile or something. Truck drivers would hang up on, it was really low quality freight. So my stepmom, who's a big wig in a multi-billion-dollar staffing agency, put my name in a hat for this company was opening in Chicago, which is where I was at the time. And I learned, so I just interviewed for it to get out of the job I was in. And I learned later that I got the job over another candidate because I was cheaper. So then it just started as a receptionist at, I think I was making $400 a week on my salary, and then just went from a receptionist to a recruiter to a senior recruiter, on-site manager, branch manager, and so forth and so on. And it wasn't anything I was aspiring to get into, but I'm good with people, and I have a pretty good sense of, I can read between the lines. So it made for a good fit.
Right. Yeah. So you kind of just ended up in a natural path for you that you're just, like innately good at.
Agreed. Yeah.
And then so you loved the business, and then you're a natural leader, and so you just rose.
I think so.
And now you're VP. How about that?
I know. It's amazing.
So with Emerge Infinite Staffing, what is our secret sauce? What makes us different than other staffing organizations?
So with our affiliation with Emerge, obviously, we're a global-sized organization, but with a boutique organization approach, meaning that we don't have a solution and you need to fit into it, Mr. Client. So we look at your overall needs, and we're able to, from a consultative standpoint, assess what you need, and is it right for Emerge Infinite Staffing, or maybe it's not. Maybe it's better for Contract Recruiter or a different brand of Emerge. So it allows us to have a much larger footprint, and which obviously makes us more financially sound and all of that other stuff, but also have that boutique approach as though we were a mom and pop shop. Yeah,
I love it. So you said we're big in Florida, Rochester, Cleveland. What if a company from Kentucky calls us and says, we need a CMO tomorrow, or 6 months or less, we need a CMO. Can you help with that too?
No problem. So really we can operate from, we've got the brick and mortar, if you will, in these 3 markets, but we fill positions all over the country. We've got open positions in California right now. We've got open positions in Pennsylvania, North Carolina we fill. So it's really anywhere from a perm placement or even a contract to hire. And then, for example, we do large accounts. So we've got a prospect that we will close that'll get started next year, and that's on the West Coast, and that requires 500 plus hourly employees on a temp to hire basis, meaning that we'll set up shop there. And the next thing you know, our 4th market will be on the West Coast.
Right. I love it. I love it. Beautiful. What are the hot jobs these days? What are the jobs that are getting picked up quickly? So meaning the jobs that are getting filled quickly or put in? Filled quickly. Filled quickly would be a lot of manufacturing engineers, plant managers. We have a lot of accounting, finance positions. Those get filled pretty quickly. And then we also do a lot of entry-level collections that gets filled. I think that's probably one of our quickest turnarounds from an hourly perspective, is people that make phone calls to collect money. It doesn't make sense to me, but the team can fill them all day. Yeah, it's kind of sad that that's a popular career these days,
exactly.
Right? So,
Good point.
A lot of money to collect, apparently. So now I ask you that because for young people these days, those are the trends, right?
Exactly. That's where we're going.
Engineering, accounting, finance, right? That's excellent. All right, very good. What are some of the jobs that used to be really popular that aren't anymore? Can you like 10 years ago or something?
Oh, absolutely. Banquets and events where kids in school would make $300 on a weekend, working 2 days. Those we used to have lines out the door for that type of work, especially in South Florida and California and Orlando. Now, it's almost impossible. We can do it, but it's really tough. And then I would say forklift drivers, all of those traditional hourly labor type positions, it seems to be people would prefer to work for Uber. They would prefer to, do the more of a gig work. The operators are out there, but that's where it comes from, just posting an ad and filling it easily to actually finding people that maybe they work at Amazon and maybe they're making $18 an hour, but their boss is horrible and they are breaking their back. They want to come work for you for 16 because they're looking for a balance. So it's just a matter of finding where these people are and how to get them.
Yeah. So it's like an art form.
Correct. It's a craft.
Yeah, it's a craft. I like that very much. Now that's terrific. What are some of the when you started 23 years ago, I'm sorry I keep on saying that so many times, but obviously there wasn't a lot of technology going on, right? And now there's a ton. What are some of the big tech changes that you feel have been very helpful to the industry?
Oh gosh, I think the first one would be, I remember we had applications that they came in folders and you had to fill them out with a pen and a paper. And they 45, 50 pages because you got the background authorization and everything else that comes with it. Now everything is done on your phone before you walk into the office on the app.
Yeah.
So the employee just uploads their resume, and then if we are going to onboard them, everything is done through the app on their phone. It's very convenient for them. It takes 10 minutes. Now, even the recruiters can look at your IDs out on site at the customer and verify your I-9 on the app. So it's, from a technology standpoint, it makes us quicker.
Yeah.
And then it's also more attractive for the employees because I don't have to go to an office and fill out a piece of paper. I can just pull up my phone and complete my documents.
Yeah.
So I would say that's one thing.
A lot more efficiencies that way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And cheaper to operate. You know, they don't need a printer.
Right. Yeah, I notice a lot of young people don't have printers.
Like,
I don't have one. I'm like, you don't have a printer?
No, exactly. And mine's been out of ink now for like 4 years.
See?
Right.
So you are like a young person. There you go. Keeping it young.
Exactly. That's why I was out of ink. Exactly.
Yeah. Very cool. So where do you think this is going in the next 5 or 10 years? What are some of the industry changes that you foresee happening?
I think that for the industry, it's getting harder and harder to make money in the very entry level, very temporary roles. So I think that part of what we're trying to get ahead of is get the old mindset of it's going to be $12 an hour and they're going to like it. Like, this just doesn't work anymore.
Right.
So like looking at the job, and if the client has a particular budget, maybe we don't pay hourly, maybe we pay, X amount of dollars for X amount of work, or trying to come up with a way to be able to assist with those sorts of positions, but not for a low pay rate per hour.
Yeah.
And then I think too, from an agency perspective, being very selective and trying to provide good opportunities versus just taking whatever business you can get, where the jobs aren't attractive, people don't want them, they're not treated well. So doing a good job, not only working for your client partners, but also working for your contributor partners and your employees.
Right, excellent. What makes a successful recruiter?
Good question. So I think recruiting is something that I really don't think that very many people are little girls and boys and they want to, I want to be a recruiter when I grow up, so it's
That'd be something, right?
It would be.
You're 5.
I'll take that for but I think you've got to like people. You've got to really enjoy interacting with people and pulling information out of, people that maybe don't want to give it just because it's not their personality. And you've got to want to hustle, and work for both your client and your employee. So you've got to some degree, be somewhat of a people pleaser, be somewhat of a matchmaker. So really, I think to make a good recruiter is a people person whose ultimate goal, what matters to them, is to help people. Whether you're helping Mr. Client fill his role or Mrs. Employee get her dream job.
Gotcha. Well, I'm looking at you as far as, great, positive, fun attitude. When I first came on the Emerge team here, you reached out to me on Teams, like, let's have a video call and say hello. And so, of course, I'm like, right away, I'm like, this Erin woman's cool. I like her, It built a relationship, right? Which is great. And then I got to meet you when you came this summer.
Exactly.
And you turned around, I'm like, that's Erin.
Can I help you? No.
Yeah. Well, we love when you come to Rochester. You definitely, bring a little bit more warmth to our region.
Oh, thank you.
So keep on visiting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and look forward to having this conversation in one more year to see what some of the new changes were.
Same, and thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. We wish you continued massive success.
Thank you so much.
Erin Vinson, if people on Emerge or anybody wants to reach out to you, how do they get in touch with you?
Call me. It's 786-622-5081, or you can go to our website and get my email address.
All right, guys, she does have a boyfriend, so use that number only for business purposes.
Can you edit that out? No.
It's iffy. No, I'm just kidding. I can tell she's fun. What a great personality. So thanks again, Erin.
Thank you so
totally
much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for watching Emerge TV with the great Erin Vinson. Appreciate you being here and learning more about the team that makes Emerge so great. Have a great day, and make sure to stay awesome.